time now to have a look at the weekend through the lens of the bookmaker. Tristan Merlehan is the number one seed. He's the CEO at TopSport. He gives us all the inside mail. He's been good enough to join us this afternoon. G'day, Tristan.
G'day, Jimmy. How you going?
Yeah, really well. I tell you what, it's been fabulous Flemington that we've seen over the last 3 days. What about the fourth day of the Carnival? Have you got something for the followers and the viewers for the Kitten Stakes?
Yeah, we do. It's my favourite day of the Carnival Stakes Day. There's so many big races on, and it's normally an afterthought for a few of these pundits. So I like to try to look for a little bit of value in these races. In the Kitten Stakes, we've got a pretty good field. We've got Zaki making its return. It's been $2.20 out to $2.35. A bit of support for Colette, $5.50 into $4.80. Moanga, $9 into $8. So they're steering away from Zaki, the favourite. Now, we all know what happened on Cox Plate Day, where Zaki was a late withdrawal on the morning of the race due to elevated temperatures. This is the run about a month ago now in the Might and Power, where Zaki was a $1.25 favourite and it had its colours lowered by Probabile. Non-conformist on the outside there. Now Zaki's in the middle in the red and the blue. Non-conformist ended up running second in the Caulfield Cup, but it couldn't quite get near incentivised. And Probabile's form probably wasn't that great in the Cox Plate. So Zaki, was this run an indication of what was coming? Is it maybe on the downward spiral after a very long prep, a very tough prep? For me, at the $2.30 in this big race, I think it's a little bit of an afterthought. I certainly think its grand final was the Cox Plate. So I don't like taking a horse at $2.30 in a race where it wasn't set for to begin with. You look into the future now for the rest of the field. As I said, I'm looking in at a few horses at a little bit of value. You see here, Cascadian's $11 out to $12. Superstorm, $12 all calls, and the others have drifted. I really like number 3, Superstorm. Bob Peters is the famous owner of the pink and white colours. You can see there, just in the middle of the field here, about to get a split. This was on Derby Day in the Cantala. Now, it's trying to find a passage through, and when you see it hits the line here, it hits the line really, really well. It gains wings here and it flies through, and it just gets its nose down right at the opportune time. Now, it's stepping up from 1,600 to 2,000. That's the tricky bit of this puzzle. It hasn't raced over 2,000 just yet, but just the way it finds the line, finds the gap, it makes me think that it will be able to get to the 2,000. And I think at $12, it's really worth a bet. Now, Bob Peters, he owned the winner in this race, his staple star, Acadia Queen. So I think he's always had this as an option for this horse. And I just think at the $12 there, it's going to run a really, really big race. I think it loves the wide open pastures of Flemington, and I think it's a big chance of causing an upset in the McKinnon.
All right, not a lot of luck for me on Derby Day, but I did like the work of Superstorm, so I might be following you in again on that one. All right, let's have a look at week 9 of the NFL. We've got the Jets versus the Colts first up. The Jets, surprise last start winners.
They were big upset winners against Cincinnati. They're $5.10 in this game. The Colts are $1.21. The Lions $10.5. Now, Mike White, he made his starting debut there last week as a 26-year-old taking over from Zach Wilson. He played some miracle plays. He went out there like he was just playing college ball, the flea flicker, the great reception. Is he going to be able to do it against a Colts side, which I feel like to beat up on these weaker opponents? Have a look at this play here. Down in the corner, it's an absolutely phenomenal grab there, 20 seconds out from halftime. He's done really, really well. He threw for 400 yards. He threw 3 touchdowns, and he overturned a massive deficit. But you look at this play here. Look at this one. Just gets almost picked off there. If that throw is half a second later, the Bengals are in for a pick 6. So he does find some open pastures here, but I just get the feeling that now the opposition have had a week to sort of sit on him, work out what's going on. I think there might be a thuddering fall from grace here for the Jets. I get the feeling that the Colts are going to come out and really try to reduce the deficit that the Titans have put on them. The Titans jumped clear with that big win last weekend. However, now they've lost Derrick Henry. We've talked up the Titans a number of times, but I think the Colts will fancy their chances to make a run at this division. And I get the feeling that this is their chance, this is their statement game on Friday Night Football to really put up a number. So we've seen Carson Wentz. We spoke about him last week. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly with Carson. We're going to have a look at the bad. He needed to lead his side down to get a field goal. And I thought he threw his worst interception of his career last week. Well, in the space of 7 days, he's thrown one worse. He's gifted the Titans a chance to go 7 up, and they've gone 7 up in this game. To his credit, he did lead the side down the field, and they were able to go and score a touchdown in the last minute and a half, which is a really impressive effort. But then, in overtime, which we haven't got the vision on, he threw another intercept, and the Titans were gifted that game. In saying that, when he's at his best, when he's got time in the pocket, he is one of the better quarterbacks in this league. Have a look at the vision here where he has time, and he just picks out the receiver there in an absolute pinpoint pass. I get the feeling against a Jet side that isn't of the caliber defensively of the Titans, he's going to have plenty of opportunities to find his feet. He's not going to be under the pressure he was under last week, and I think he might roll. I think they might put up a big number against a Jet side, which maybe are filled with a little bit of false confidence on the back of last week's results. I really like the minus in this game. I think there's going to be plenty of points. We saw the Jets are already willing to play some trick plays. If they get behind on the scoreboard, they're going to do that as well this week, in my opinion. And that could lead to them coming back, or it could lead to a few intercepts. And the Colts have got a very good defensive structure. I think there might be a couple of pick six here. So I like the minus and I like the overs, and I think this is going to be a statement game for the Colts.
All right, there's a lot of action happening off the field for the NFL, most notably for Aaron Rodgers and the COVID positive, which keeps him out of the Packers game. In the meantime, the Bears are taking on the Steelers. What's your thoughts on this game coming up for Week 9?
Yeah, this game is probably Big Ben's last or second last opportunity to be under the bright lights of Monday Night Footy. The Bears are $3.25. The Pittsburgh Steelers are $1.36. The line's 6.5, and the total points are 40. Now, Big Ben is probably at the start of the season. He might have gone for one season too many. He was under a bit of a cloud early in the year. He looked like he lost a lot of his mobility. But have a look at what the defense has done for the Steelers in the last 3 weeks. They're on a 3-game winning streak. They're playing against Cleveland last week, who Cleveland were one of the Super Bowl favourites only 2 or 3 weeks ago. They lost a few players middle of the year, and they looked like they were falling, but Baker Mayfield was back in the side last week. And this defensive outfit of the Steelers has just been so good. They've won games single-handedly for the Pittsburgh side, and they've kept Big Ben in games where he can play his role now. He doesn't need to throw for 300 yards. He can just churn up the field, go nice and slowly, and get a few first downs, which is in his DNA. I think that the Steelers come right into this game with that opportunity. Then you look at the Chicago side of it. They've got a very good defensive structure as well, where they've got a side that have been winning games defensively too. You look at here, they're playing against the San Francisco side, which has got a lot of injuries, but they were able to put a few stops on the San Fran attack as well. So I get the feeling this is going to be a really, really tight defensive lineup. You've got Justin Fields, who is a very enigmatic quarterback. He's only young. He's in one of his first couple of years. He's in his first year of NFL action. And he's made a play here against, as we said, a beaten-up San Francisco side where he beats about 7 or 8 defensive players, and he makes a brilliant run. It was an absolutely phenomenal play. I would be absolutely shocked if he can pull something like that off against Pittsburgh. I think the defensive line's going to be right up on him. There's going to be a lot of sacks. I know firsthand the ebbs and flows of Justin Fields' performance. I had him in my fantasy team 2 weeks ago. He needed 3 points for me to win the game, and he got a 1.12. So I'm not bitter about that at all. But I think against a good Pittsburgh defensive side, he might be found out. And I think the unders is a really, really strong play here. I think under the bright lights, the defensive side is going to want to do anything they can to get Big Ben into another playoff series to sign off his career. I think we're going to have about 20, 25 points. And when the unders is set at 40, I think it's going to cover pretty comfortably.
All right, based on what you've told us there, I'm looking for Justin Fields and Carson Wentz in the regular season MVP market. I'd imagine that the top ones are all quarterbacks, but there has been a significant change.
There has been a significant change, and have a look at the leaderboard. It is a who's who of quarterbacks up the top. Josh Allen has been playing lights out. He opened the season at 13. He's into 350 favourite. He's a deserved favourite. Kyler Murray on the back of the Cardinals, great start to the season, $6, opening at 20. The evergreen Tom Brady, $6.50. Dak Prescott at 8. But the one I want to talk about is Matty Stafford. It breaks my heart to see him 4th on the line of betting for the Rams. I'm a massive Detroit fan, and he wasn't able to go to these heights when he played for my Lions. But he has been playing lights out football for the Rams. They're 7-1. And have a look at the way he can pinpoint players down the field. He's got a massive arm, and he's just thrown it exactly where it needs to be. The attacking player gets pulled up short here, but they do score on the next drive. Matty Stafford is looking really, really good. But the thing that I reckon really plays into his favour in this market is they've just signed Von Miller. Now, Von Miller has come over from Denver. He looked very emotional leaving, but I think that the chance for him to win another Super Bowl is immense. They've now got Von Miller, they've got Jalen Ramsey, and they've got Aaron Donald. One of 3 of the best defensive players in the league. You can see back here 5 years ago in the Super Bowl, he made some enormous plays in this Super Bowl And I feel he single-handedly won it for the Denver Broncos, even though Peyton Manning gained all the accolades. He made some enormous plays here. You know he's a big game player. And what that means is that Matty Stafford's going to have plenty of opportunities to get ball in really, really good field position. He's going to have the three-headed monster here playing the defensive side of the ball for him. And the thing we've found with the Rams is that their star running back, Cam Akers, the young kid from last year, he's down with an injury. So they haven't got the running back stocks where teams, when they get a good lead, pass it off to the running backs and the quarterback gets off the field. Even against Houston last week, he was still airing the ball out. So I think he's going to get plenty of opportunities. And you look at the rest of these markets, the only notable player that wasn't on that list at the start is Patty Mahomes. $5.50 out to $41. Obviously hasn't had the season that he expected. Can he bring the Kansas City Chiefs single-handedly back into contention? I don't think so. Even if he does, I think the regular season MVP, remember it's based on the regular season, I think they're going to look to give it to a player that hasn't been in the playoffs in recent years, if it's tight. And that, to me, brings Matty Stafford and Kyler Murray right into play, because a lot of the other guys at the top of the leaderboard are guys you'd be expecting to play at this level, and they'll need to win it in the playoffs for them to be really credited with a great year.
Justin Herbert there from the Chargers out to $26. Lucas Herbert was a winner, the Aussie, on the PGA Tour last week. Are you taking us golfing this week for one to follow over the weekend, Tristan?
I am taking us golfing. I'm taking us to a tournament in Mexico, the Mayakoba Classic, where I've found two players here. I found someone that a lot of people may not have heard of, Adam Long. He's $2.03. Charles Howell III. He's played in big tournaments. He's been a very, very good player over the years. He's $1.83. I'm very surprised that Adam Long is the underdog in this matchup. He's finished second and third in the last 2 years in this event. Charles Howell hasn't cracked the top 20 for a long time. Adam Long, also away from this event, has finished in the top 25 2 out of the last 3 events. He's in pretty good form. We'd love to see a couple of iron shots similar to this, where he almost holds it here, just misses the hole-in-one. That was a few tournaments back. So I just get the feeling this comes into a really good matchup. He's taking on someone that is in the twilight of his career. I think he's more looking forward to going on to the Seniors Tour, Charles Howell. And I think if he finishes in the top 25, which I think is highly probable based on his recent record at this event, he'll be winning that matchup. You can even have a look at top 20, which is $5, top 10, which is $10. I think he's a really good player, and he might have snuck under the guard of the traders here in a tournament that sometimes throws up some surprises this early in the season.
Fantastic. How would you best describe your golf game, Tristan?
Mike, I hit the ball regularly.
Very good. Thank you, mate. Enjoy your weekend. We'll look forward to speaking again next Thursday.
Thanks, Jimmy. Have a good weekend.